That's an interesting analogy. Out of curiosity, why is there less neighborhood watches in the Western Cape? I saw the map quickly. There's less in the Western Cape. Why is that? Is it because it's safer?
I would say out of I don't know exactly what the statistics are, but it sounds correct that there are less in the Western Cape than some other provinces, and it's absolutely because of necessity. I mean, we have limited resources. If we could place a neighborhood watch in every town out there, we would, but we put them where they are most necessary by using our resources in the most effective way possible. It doesn't help if you put a neighborhood watch somewhere where there's absolutely no need for one. When there is somewhere else where there is a need, but you don't put it there. So it's all about using resources effectively, the resources that we have at our disposal, and putting them where they're needed most.
And Helen Zille also features in this documentary. Are you happy with, is Afriforum happy with the Democratic Alliance and Helen Zille's conviction? Is that the right word? And the pursuance of federalism for the Western Cape?
Well,
do you think they mean it? Do you think they really want to devolve powers to the Western Cape?
This is where Afriforum and the Solidarity Movement take a very radical stance, or a stance that shakes up a lot of people because they can't understand it. Yes, party politics is important, and we welcome any allies from the party politics sphere that helps devolve powers and helps give communities more power to take their destiny into their own hands. But we don't concern ourselves very much with party politics and the world of party politics on a daily basis. We're working on the ground at our branches, at our initiatives, working to state-proof communities. If the parties out there that help in that initiative, that help by creating more room for that and giving their assistance and their support, amazing, we welcome that. But in regards to, do we endorse this, do we support this, what do we think about the parties doing this, it's not very high on our priority list. You can see go look at what the Afriforum and Solidarity Oaks are talking about, and you'll see they're talking about what's going on the ground. What are they building? What did they build last week? What did we achieve this week? They're not really commenting on what this party politics scandal or this party politics drama. It's kind of like background noise. Yes, you should now and then pay attention to it, but it's not. That's why I say it's a very radical stance from our side, because it kind of shocks people. Like, no, we don't really care. That's why we're not. That's why we're not involved in party politics. That's why we don't create a political party. As Flabé says, if you think the main vehicle to bring about change is party politics, then you haven't seen what we've been able to achieve outside of it. And if you think we should start a political party, then you underestimate our ambitions.
Yeah, okay, well, I didn't suggest that, but I mean, obviously you're working with the Democratic Alliance and the Western Cape Devolution Working Group. So generally you would think, as Afriforum, that they are helping the cause generally and not hindering the cause.
I don't. I think generally they offer their assistance and they help create the space for devolution of power. I think they can focus even more on that. If I were to really take a stance on that regard, I'd say they can focus even more resources and time and effort on the devolution of power. But we're very glad for any support from anyone, VF Plus, DA, any party that wants to contribute towards making communities more state-proof and less dependent on the government. We'll absolutely welcome that, and it's something that I think there should definitely be more of.
In this pursuit of federalism, Ernst, a lot of people are saying we should stop being polite with the ANC. They're a bunch of criminals. I mean, corruption would be perhaps a lenient word. I mean, they're stealing money. In some cases, they're literally stealing 100% and then stealing the money they're borrowing on that 100%. So they're basically criminals, these people. And we should stop being polite with these people and just say, we're going to stop being polite. We're just going to take power, especially here in the Western Cape. If we want control policing, we should just take control policing. We should stop sending them nicely worded letters. I mean, Gordon Neil Lewis has now said that he's going to send a nicely worded letter to what's the Minister of Transport to get control of the railways. I mean, when are we going to stop doing this? So shouldn't we just take control of the railways? Yeah. What do you think of
Yeah,
that?
well, I would say take is the wrong verb. The right verb that we focus on at Afriforum and Solidarity is build. You create power, you don't take power. The world of party politics and the world of politicians is about taking power, not building power, and we're about building power. So rather than trying to push that some political party builds more Afrikaans schools, we just build academia, we build Soltech. Instead of trying to pressure politicians to solve the crime problem, we build our own centers of power through our neighborhood watches and our security network and structures. So it's a clash of, or not a clash, but rather a contrast between two approaches to power and two approaches to influencing reality. I mean, you won't be seeing us writing to the DA or the VF Plus or anyone, any party, saying that please do this, please do this. We just do it. A good example would be the neighborhood watches that we start. We didn't, when we started them, we didn't go ask SAPS like, can we please, can you give us in writing official permission to start a neighborhood watch in Dimut or whatever? We just did it. We just built them. We just built them to the point where they're so big and so unignorable that you just go to the police and say, oh, well, just for your information, as you've noticed, this neighborhood watch exists. If you want any assistance from our side or cooperation, just contact us. We're happy to help. So it's about creating a reality. It's about that whole thing of de jure and de facto. So de jure is the regulatory and legal reality, and de facto is the physical, real reality. At Afriforum and Solidarity, we create a de facto reality that the de jure reality cannot ignore. We build it so strong and so unmissable and so influential that regulatory and legal reality has no choice but to acknowledge and adapt to what we're doing rather than the other way around. That's the only way to create real change. That's what they're doing in Urania as well. In Urania, they just created a reality. They didn't ask permission and say, can we do this? Can we do this? Only when we get written permission, we're going to start doing it. No, they just started doing it. They just started building a reality. They start building a future. And in the end, the jure reality was forced to acknowledge their reality. That's how you build a future. That's how you create something.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I'm not one of these idiots that's going to say that Afriforum is a terrible organization. I think what Afriforum is doing is great. What just bothers me and what you're describing is you're describing sort of the canon, the great land. Everything can be self-governed, but it seems to me there's time involved. It's going to take a while to get there. I'm just worried about the short-term consequences. For example, it will be great if we can build our own railways and trains and everything, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, these trains and railways are under the control of the ANC. So if we don't take control of it, what's going to happen in the short term? I mean, it's going to be a lot of suffering. So time-wise, don't we have to get a bit more drastic?
Well, it's all about what can you do. We do what we can with what we have. I mean, you can, if we live in the world of paper and theory, and then yes, there's a lot more that can be done. There's a lot more that should be done. But we don't live in that world. We live in the world of cement and bricks and of the real physical world. And you do what you have with what you can. And when it comes to what we do, it's what we can with what the resources that we do. I mean, it would be absolutely perfect if we could just through a more sense of urgency, just snap our fingers and there's a private power plant just rises from the ground. But I mean, that's not realistic. That's the type of things that we're doing is what's realistic and what will last, not about saying, well, because this is not drastic enough, or because this is not enough, we shouldn't even be doing it, or we should be doing something more. Well, what is possible? We can do a lot more if a lot more people start getting involved. The more people that support us, the more people that become members of Afriforum makes our resource pool a lot bigger, and we can start doing a lot more. We can already do light years more than what we could 10 or 15 years ago. 10 or 15 years ago, we couldn't do what we're doing today. We couldn't be building technical college campuses. We couldn't be planning an entire university campus valued more than R1 billion that's on the way. These are the stuff that is coming, but it's stuff that takes time. Like I said, a lot of politicians and a lot of commentariats and people that write opinion pieces live in the paper world, in the world of theory and the world of coulds and shoulds. But we live in the world of cans and what is possible, what can we do with what we have, and it's not always satisfying to people. But at least in the end, when you live in our world rather than the theoretical world, we have a physical end product to show, rather than people still endlessly writing about theoretical perfect examples of what should be done, but not the first brick hasn't even been laid to those solutions. So it's all about reality. At Afriforum and Solidarity, we're pretty much realists. We live solidly in reality, and we have a very deep distrust and skepticism towards any type of utopian idea. Our motto is perfect is the enemy of good.
Ernst, talk to us about energy and electricity. What's the progress Afriforum is making in that regard? I think you're talking about building nuclear power stations, if I'm not mistaken. Or
that's you're talking about that article that came out a month or so ago. So if you read the headline that the journalist was a bit excited over, it sounds like we're going to build we're going to build a nuclear power plant tomorrow. But what we're actually doing, if you read the entire article, you'll see we're starting with the process of creating an initiative for generating our own electricity. But again, it starts small. It doesn't start with we're already drawing up the plans for a nuclear power plant. It starts off with we are exploring what options there are. We are already consulting with many role players in the sector about the practical solutions to the problem and what can be done. After we've done that, we will start selecting the best way forward, and then we start building it. But we're currently in that stage where we are pretty much laying the foundations of the house that we're building. But again, it's something that takes time. You can't build these things in a month or in a year. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but I mean, I'd rather tell people the truth than sell them a lie and false hope. I'd rather give them a positive, real story than some fake story that's going to make them very excited, but that's based on a lie. So when it comes to electricity specifically, we're making sure that it's as easy as possible for people to get solar, that people know how the best way to make themselves state-proof in that regard. We're also exploring all the other ways, the practical ways that there are to generate electricity outside of solar. We've made a lot of progress behind the scenes on that, but we first got to consolidate all of that knowledge before we can announce the next step. We're currently in stage 1. That's where it starts. But I mean, you have to start somewhere. Afriforum, at stage 1 of Afriforum was when Afriforum had 3 members, or three people started Afriforum, and the membership base was their family and friends.
For a moment, I got excited when you said stage 1. I thought it was load shedding. Okay, so it's going to take time. What are some of those? You mentioned other options besides solar. What are those options besides solar for the interested viewer that can become?
I'm not involved in that project, so I don't have all that information. I don't even know what I know if I can disclose it yet. So unfortunately, that's not my field. But I can give you the contact if you can talk to about that.
Yeah. And is there anything else you'd like to talk about the documentary? I glossed over a few points. What else would you like to talk about the documentary?
Well, I think what's really important with the message that I wanted to instill in this documentary, and that I did think it does very effectively, is that people are tired of just diagnosing the problem. I mean, a lot of South African commentators have become experts at diagnosing the problem, but none of them can think of or counter with any solution. Our whole point of the documentary is, here is our solution, here is our model for the future. You might not think it's perfect, you might think it'll fail, you might think it doesn't have a certainty of winning. We don't also think it has a certainty, but it's our best bet from what we can see. And I mean, this is from the visionary minds of someone like Flip Base, who started the entire solidarity movement from a single person. So this is what we're proposing through this documentary is not the perfect solution or the guaranteed solution, but the realistic, real solution. That's why also, I mean, like I said, it was a difficult task creating this, because I'm selling medicine to people. I'm selling them something that doesn't taste nice. I'm not selling candy to them. I'm not selling T-bone steaks to them. I'm selling them the medicine, the bitter medicine that they need to start influencing the reality around them and start building a solution. But the thing is, and the message is, you're going to have to start getting involved, not trust us. Some smart guys are in charge. They're going to fix everything. You can just sit back and wait. All you have to do is to sign a little X on a piece of paper, and that's all you have to do. It's a lot harder of a message than that. But I think it has succeeded in the mission of making Afriforum and Solidarity's plan for the future very clear and in a visual medium, because Flip Base has already written an entire book on what our plan for the future is and how we are achieving it. But it needed to be translated into a visual medium like a documentary as well. And I think the documentary does it very well. And that's what we try to achieve, because in the end, people don't just, like I said, want to see or hear the diagnosis of the problem. They want to hear the solution. And this is our solution. It's not, I think another important point to emphasize is the fact that people always ask, but what if it fails? What if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't work? Isn't the risk too high? And the only answer to that is, the risk that's bigger than not trying a plan or not trying an idea or a new model or an alternative path, the risk of not doing it, the risk of not doing anything is much larger. And in not doing anything, defeat is certain, ruin is certain. So yes, our plan might not be a fix all. It might not be a plan that everyone thinks is now, this is the silver bullet, but we're doing something, and we are putting a lot of money and a lot of time. And everyone that work into this, and everyone that works at Solidarity and at Afriforum, are tying our entire careers and our future to this plan. So I think there's at least the vote of confidence of everyone getting involved, that we trust that this is the way to go. And like I say, there are other solutions as well. What we're trying is not the only solution out there. Urania is another model. That's why Urania is in the documentary as well, because they are also forging a future, but not through demanding a future or by begging for a future or by voting for a future, but building one, just simply building it. As US Strijdom says, we're building our own institutions, our own systems in our own place with our own labor on our own terms. And that also rings true with what Afriforum and Solidarity are doing. We're doing things on our own terms, and we are very glad for anyone that helps us along the way, that gives us their support, that gives us their time and their at least a word of confidence, and sometimes even just their time, specifically in regards to volunteering, making sure that what we're doing has the best chance of succeeding. So that's what we wanted to achieve. What Afriforum and Solidarity do is nothing secret. We're not some hidden cabal in the shadows. I made the joke at the premiere of the documentary. I said, where other organizations tell you, just trust us, we can't give you any information about what we're doing, top secret, but trust us. Afriforum and Solidarity are like, we make documentaries about our plan. We write books about our plan. We do interviews and presentations on a monthly basis about, here's what we plan to do, here's how we're going to achieve it, and this is how you can help. And I'm very proud to be part of that type of organization. I don't have the character. My character would not fit in with an organization that just keeps everything secret and its members in the dark. We try to be as transparent as possible when it comes to, this is what we want, and this is how we're going to get it.